So this is the after rain inspection. In the garage in this corner, there's flooding. And see that rotten board? That I had noticed that before. So the rest of the garage, actually on this whole wall, it's flooding. And the rest of the garage looks relatively okay. So outside, I put this tarp to catch the water coming off the roof and let it go down the field, because it does slope down there. But what's happened is this wall has had actually a bunch of grass I took out last week, and in there the grass is keeping the water pinned up against the wall, and actually there's a long level part where the water would just fill up and there'd be a trough leaning against the garage wall all the time. Back here, this is relatively okay. Of course, there's no runoff off here. The runoff comes off this side, and it's not too bad. It's sloped, so it's not a problem. I'm going to slope it a little bit more. I don't like to leave it to chance, let the water. Back here, this is where the overhang is. Those posts didn't settle anymore. They're good. They're on top of some blocks. And over here we have not that much flooding, but where it comes off of the top there, that one corner, and it comes down to there, pulls up, and I threw some dirt there now, and I'll build a slope so that the water comes back this way. Of course, all those rocks are going to come out. Won't really need them with a slope. These rocks here come out. This is the puddle that forms, and actually this time it worked fairly well. It comes off that canale that's really artfully done, and goes there. I got it hitting that brick, and it hits the pool. Then it's channeled off into the field over here, and so you see the field's pretty full. And over here we had some dampness in there. Well, actually, this is where it's all filled up, and I had put these blocks here. We had some dampness that was over here, and where that comes from is the same thing as on the other side of the overhang. That little section there drains off into down here, kind of pools up, and there's nothing to keep it from going this way. It actually should come, and we'll slope a little bit so it goes this way. Over here, the tree had a nice little ring of water, but all the water's over here. So the idea is to take this ring that's here, and I already kind of started on some of this, and digging it up. Oh, look, I found a nice wire. God knows where that used to go to. And found a big ass rock and a couple of little rocks. But when I finish, the ring will be more out here, and it will probably drain from that spot up there into here. Oh, you say, what's going to happen to that big puddle right there? Boy, that's a lot of water. So what we're going to do with that, by the way, the field filled up, and it's all dissipated. It's all soaked in. Very nice, and my weeds will be another foot taller tomorrow. So that puddle comes from this guy going out there and filling that up. And so, gosh, how do we raise that? Well, it's going to be pretty hard to raise, but we can build a berm that comes down this way. As it comes down, it'll be just like a little canal. Not very deep, doesn't take much. It's pretty level back here. This comes up a little bit, but we can go down underneath this tie. All the way back here, this came out better. So you can see I kind of like banked it there. I didn't bank it on the side of the casita, but I will. So there's catch the water from the drains, but the casita pretty much drains like a regular roof. It doesn't really come out the little canales that it should. Anyway, we'll dig that trench, or I like to call it a rock waterway. We're going to use all those rocks to kind of firm it up. I come down here. Oh, look at this guy. Boy, he's all wet. Maybe that ant will try and eat him. I don't know. He looks pretty big. We have a lot of those stink bugs here. So anyway, I come down here, and this is kind of banked in here like a roadway coming around here. And we'll probably level that off, but we'll keep our river canal coming down here. All the way down here, and I take all this rock back up there. It needs to be back up over that way. This is nice, and we'll take it right through my burn area there, and I'll move my burn area over here, and so then it'll drain in the field. Field's not level per se, and that this north side is lower. It does have a few dips in there, and actually that looks better than it did last time. And there's a little puddle up in that corner. So the field looks pretty level. I'm glad I came to photographing this so I see what I need to do. So this here has got a nice puddle, but again, the water's up here. It would be nicer to have it down there in the field. And I think some of that dirt and everything that's down there can come up here, and we can fill these puddles in. And it should be relatively drier. Looks like I was pulling some barbed wire. I hooked on my extension cord. I hope it still is intact. So, and of course our hole filled up with water, so it doesn't look like it's bubbling. I don't think the water's leaking, so when it goes down, we'll put some sand around that and fill that in. Over here, and you can see this portion of the field is lower than that portion over there. So we can probably just drag some of this way a little bit, and it'll even out. So of course this is higher, so this probably can come down. We'll get something to do that with eventually. And look, Indian arrowhead. Oh, wait a minute. That's a shard of glass. Glass, not grass. Anyway, so over here, I already started putting some dirt here from doing my walkway. And we can see that I'll call it the canal next to us, has its potholes too. And we'll work on draining some of that back into the field. So the field will get a lot of the water, and not so much the back of the house and the casita and all that. And this berm here can probably be taken down a little bit, and we'll use that in the back corner up there. Up front, I don't know if the county's been here. Oh, this is just temporary, by the way, because we're trying to contain Bronny, and this is where I use the chain link. I got a couple ties from tractor store. I just tied it to the other fence. Goes all the bottom. I don't think he's come out through this way for quite a while. Walkway worked pretty good. The rock absorbed the water down to where the wheelbarrow is, and then I've got a bump here, and then it did drain down through here and into my flower bed that way. We'll make that all level, and of course there was enough water that the drain wasn't set too good that it did drain out into the driveway, but that's not a problem. Got a little spot here that indentation. Did this patch, and it seemed to have fared pretty well. It didn't puddle this time. Of course there's the street. That's pretty crazy, huh? We may just get the boys, when they're doing a job, bring some dirt by and drop it in there, and it will push some of the water away from the front of our drive, but all the way down it's like that. I'm sure the county will send their sweeper and suck it all up. I guess the county sucks, huh? Then over here we had another problem. Well, let's say another circumstance. Everything's a opportunity. Hey, look, very few weeds over here. Just grass. This is kind of wild Bermuda, and there's nicer Bermuda I think we're going to put up there. But anyway, this walkway, and why did they slope everything from the street and down so the water comes down, and the water was right up below the doorway there. There's like a 2-inch thing, and this brick was covered with water, and it drained off into here, but it didn't drain down that way. So I'll have to slope this path so it drains off that way. Oh, and this little bush here, very persistent. I keep chopping it off, and keeps coming back. I think it's like the stuff that was in where the drying racks are out there, and it's, you just got to take up all the rock and pull it out by the root. So I'll get that done too. Anyway, there's your tour of Sena and all the things that we are doing. Oh, this thing was plugged in during the rain. I was a little bit nervous to unplug it. If I disappear, it'll be because it zapped me. But here, what's unplugged. And I have plans to move that plug too, because that plug they put right under that drain, which really is not a good place to put a plug. So here's your story. I'm going to send it to you. Hopefully it goes. It's a big story.